Thanks for staying with us here on the Urban Debate. We move on to conversation number 2 and put the spotlight on Tamil Nadu, where the politics is really now heating up. But I'm not just talking about the rival parties AIADMK and the DMK and their fight come the election season. I'm right now talking about what's happening within the AIADMK and some expelled members like Sasikala. Yes, Sasikala has upped the ante when it comes to the control of AIADMK. She is not wasting any time. Just days out of getting out of jail and then hospital, she's moving very, very quickly to get back the control of the party. 2 days ago, she sought from the court to expedite the proceedings of her 2017 plea that had challenged her removal, that had actually ordered her removal as the AIADMK General Secretary. She had challenged it in 2017. She is now seeking to expedite that trial. And now, the mouthpiece that this faction runs has accused Palaniswamy and Paneerselvam of having a fake meeting in 2017. So they are reviving this and they're refreshing the memories of people of how OPS and EPS, they say, became coordinator and co-coordinator of the party. And ministers like Jayakumar and CV Shanmugam were baffled about the legal implications and that they actually ended up cheating the AIADMK cadre. So it's a very hard-hitting piece that's been written in the mouthpiece itself. So what is it that she's essentially doing? Apart from appropriating or trying to appropriate the AIADMK party flag, Jayalalita's legacy itself, here is the legal battle which many had forgotten about. When Sasikala was convicted in February 2017 for corruption, the party then moved to remove her as the General Secretary. In fact, they removed the post itself. And so the post was removed. Hence, Sasikala did not hold any party post anymore. Palaniswamy and Paneerselvam, who were earlier rivals and for a long time, even after that, came together to kick Sasikala and her nephew out of the party. At that time, Sasikala moved the Madras High Court against the party's decision, the party council's decision. She challenged all the decisions that were made in the General Council meet. She challenged the decision to remove this post and it was illegal. Then, at some point, this case was moved from the Madras High Court to the Chennai Civil Court. And now, as Sasikala emerges from jail, she has sought an early hearing and sought to expedite that case. So the case has actually been listed for March 15th, which essentially means that she is not even going to wait to see what the election results are going to be. She is not even going to take her time with a few months to take charge. She wants to do it before we go into elections in the state of Tamil Nadu. So this is getting really interesting. Which way is it going to go? Can Paneerselvam and Palaniswamy manage to regain control and keep their own house in order? Will all of this fighting lead to a further split in AIADMK? Does it dent their political fortunes in this election season? Or can Sasikala actually make a comeback? Let's ask these questions to those who are joining us for this conversation. Dr. Jayavardhan, he's the South Chennai member of Parliament of Lok Sabha. He's with the AIADMK. Mr. Sumansi Raman, political analyst, joins us this evening. M. Bharath, associate editor of News Today, with us this evening, and Sriram Sheshadri, political analyst, also joining us this evening. We tried to reach out to Sasikala's faction, but they weren't really available for a conversation. But I still feel that this is a conversation that we must have. Sumansi Raman, let's start with you and how you're viewing the moves and the messages and the signaling coming in from Sasikala's team.
I still maintain that they have not gone full throttle in their efforts. It's extremely unusual for her to continue to maintain silence. Now she's been out for almost 10 days, more than 10 days in fact, and there's not a squeak out of her. There's not been a single press conference. She's in reasonably good health, so nothing to prevent her from at least releasing a video statement. Nothing. So clearly there is a plan. And what that plan is seems to be that they seem to be waiting for something to happen. And whether that is, BJP working behind the scenes, we'll have to wait and see. But for sure, they are not as aggressive as they were expected to be in taking on the AIADMK. And at the same time, look, the rumors are in the next 10 days, we are likely to have the election dates announced in 10, maximum 2 weeks. And thereafter, we would get into campaign mode, the model code of conduct would come in. So if she is going to make an electoral move for the AMMK, it should be now. So there's hardly any political activity from them. And apart from Mr. Dinakaran, we hardly see anybody else on any kind of a campaign mode. And though this case has been reactivated in many ways, the possibility of getting any kind of relief before the election is quite remote. Even if there were to be some kind of relief for her provided, I'm sure that the AIADMK would go on appeal to the higher courts and to the Supreme Court, and would seek some kind of a stay of some kind. So I think that the important thing that we have to understand is they are restrained. Sasikala and Dinakaran for now are holding their horses. They are waiting for something to happen, some kind of signal. And I don't know, maybe in the next week or 10 days, we may start to hear if whatever their expectations have been met, then we could see what their next moves are going to be. Is the AMMK going to contest the election for sure? If so, in how many seats are they going to contest? Everything is up in the air and she's silent. So something is going on.
Is there too little time, Bharath, is there too little a time for her to gain control before the elections, or all of the moves that she makes slowly will be keeping in mind anything post-elections?
No, I absolutely go with what Mr. Suman Siraman has said. See, the moment Sasikala landed in Chennai, a lot was said about her. They said this is going to be a rack, this is what she's going to do. But eventually for the last 10 days, none of the leaders from AIADMK went and met her. Even from their own community, which they said they are going to come in large numbers, the community is going to meet them, representatives of that particular community running political parties gave out statements praising EPS and OPS. I believe these are all the setbacks that Sasikala saw, so she chose to keep quiet. And don't worry about the legal aspects. See, March they are going to take up the case again. Then it will go. It will prolong for a longer time. So I eventually feel they want to play a wait and watch game. Even one thing is for sure, there is no place for them in AIADMK. That's what EPS has clearly said. So if at all there is a possibility, they can only try coming through NDA inside, for which again in Tamil Nadu, this assembly election, NDA is led by AIADMK. That's for sure. And another thing is, see what happens if AMMK contests independently in places like Tanjavur, where that particular community votes may be dented. For that, Narendra Modi hit a jackpot by coming out with special announcement for another community, Devendra Kula Velalar. So in a way, they are playing a cat and mouse game. I don't think they are going to be an imminent threat for AIADMK as of now. For now, EPS and OPS are clearly in their campaign trail. They are making a slew of announcements. They are going around meeting people and they want to project they are the cadre-based party today.
Okay, interesting what you're saying. Let me actually now bring in the AIADMK and Dr. Jayavardhan. Whatever it may be, whether you want her to be part or don't want her to be part, the fact is there is one legal battle that you will still have to fight to keep her out and justify your actions.
Yes, Vanakkam. With regards to our party, AIADMK, our party from our Honorable Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister, right to the last party cadre, we have made a firm decision to expel VK Sasikala and family members. They have not involved in any decision with regards to the party as well as the government. So I would like to change the topic here. It's not a fierce battle that is going around. As Suman C. Raman sir had said, they continue to remain silent because they have nothing else to do rather than being silent. With regard to the legal battle, our General Council meeting took place in September 2017. We had Election Commission which gave a two-leaf symbol to us and said the party is under the control of our Honorable Chief Minister as well as Honorable Deputy Chief Minister. It was in November 2017. Supreme Court upheld the decision of the Election Commission in March 2019 as well as in July 2020. They also moved the Delhi High Court, and our decision, the Election Commission decision, was upheld in 2019. So we have won all the legal battles, whether it's in the Delhi High Court or the Supreme Court. Now, with regards to the petition that is there, which is pending in the Madras High Court, they have moved, to process it fast. They have moved a plea, and this has come into the March 15. It has come into hearing. So we will win all the legal battles. We have already won the legal battles. We are going to win all the legal battles that are going to come up. So this is it is not a fierce fight, fierce battle. It is a Sasikala clan
So
that
tell
is
me if
remaining
it's
silent because.
so if your party is not nervous or jittery, why did you choose just this time to shut down Jayalalitha's memorial when Sasikala was coming back to the city?
See, memorial had a lot of work to be done. Considering the safety of the people who had to visit the place, we had to temporarily do some measures so that nobody visits, concerning the safety of the people who are visiting. So that's why we had temporarily shut down the memorial as such. It is in no way connection with the release of VK Sasikala. And this is not a fight for real AIADMK. Real AIADMK belongs to the to our party leaders, our honorable chief minister as well as the honorable deputy chief minister. Under their leadership, the party and the government is being run.
All right, Mr. Shashadri, you've heard everybody out, and you seem to be shaking your head. What do you disagree with?
Mostly I agree with all the panelists. Good evening. But what Mr. Jayawardhan said, I disagree on few points. Number one, the party doesn't belong to EPS or OPS. It belongs to the cadres. That is what the bylaws of the AIADMK says. Second, appointment of or taking away the general secretary as a post, as according to Rule 43 of the AIADMK bylaws, itself doesn't stand hold good in court of law. So, one thing is for sure that VK Sasikala's appointment as a general secretary as per Rule 20 of AIADMK's bylaws also is invalid. That is what the court case that Mr. Jayawardhan talked about, because only the cadres can choose the general secretary, not the general council. So in VK Sasikala's case, the general council appointed her as a general secretary, which is illegal as per the party's bylaws. So they have a case where in case Sasikala wants to go aggressive, she has her sympathizer. If she can manage to get the general council to oust OPS and EPS, if that happens, I just put a hypothesis, which is not going to happen. Like Suman said, nothing is going to happen until the election. But if that happens, then the coordinator or deputy coordinator, Mr. OPS and EPS, can be removed. That's the only legal hurdle or the problem that the ADMK leaders would have as of today. But will the cadres support that? Because will the cadres support Sasikala's appointment as general secretary later on? I doubt it, because cadres really spoke very loud and clear in the year 2017 when Sasikala tried to hijack that party as well as the position and CM-ship. I think that is where I disagree with Mr. Jayawardhan, that the party belongs to the cadres as per the bylaws, and this has been very consistent from Mr. MGR's and Ms. Jayalalitha's periods as well, because MGR as well as Jayalalitha never contested an election to become a general counsel because they never had an opponent. In this case with Ms. Sasikala, and appointment of Ms. Sasikala by the general counsel also, there was no announcement of such an election happening. So all those put together, it is actually a legal battle, but VK Sasikala will lose that legal battle with respect to her appointment as a general secretary. And also, one of the rules says that she has to be a continuous member for 5 years. Even that is being violated. Only a general secretary can relax that rule, and at that point in time, no general secretary was there, nor anybody was in power holding the General Secretary's power, the authorities.
Okay,
So all those put together, it is a legal battle.
Tanvi,
but she sees some merit in reviving the case. She sees some merit in going back to the court and saying, expedite the hearing, give me a new date, let's talk about this and resolve it. Yes, Suman.
no, Tanvi, the irony of this whole thing, these very same people actually were part of the General Council which quote unquote elected her General Secretary. Now, they are effectively going back to court and saying that what we did was not legal. I think that's it, because what Sasikala would argue is that that resolution should stand. As Sriram says, the AIADMK's rules and regulations clearly say that the General Secretary must be decided by the cadre of the party, and that has not happened here. But the irony is the same people who once decided to make her General Secretary are now saying that subsequently she has been removed from the post or whatever, and her appointment as General Secretary should not be valid. But that's one part of it. The important point right now is, what are Sasikala's options? She has a few options. She can certainly create some damage to the AIADMK if the AMMK contests the elections on its own. In about 20 constituencies is my guess in southern Tamil Nadu, where her community has got a sizable presence and the AMMK has a sizable vote bank. Around 20-25 constituencies, she can cause significant damage to the AIADMK. About that, there is no doubt. Beyond that, what is her pulling power? I can't see any. But
Sumant, isn't that enough to really, if it's a close one between AIADMK and DMK, will this damage not be enough to give DMK the edge?
Look, if Sasikala is seen as being close to the DMK or helping the DMK, it is the end of her political career, because, I mean, she cannot go to the people and claim to be the voice of Jayalalitha while she's, having some kind of understanding with the DMK. So
no, absolutely not. I'm not saying there has to be an understanding between them, but I'm just saying that if you say in 20 to 25 constituencies, she can cause a damage to AIADMK,
yes.
What does it mean for their political fortunes?
Yes. Now, let's look at it from her perspective. Yes, let's assume she helps to defeat the AIADMK and the DMK comes to power. How easy is it going to be for her, especially when she cannot contest the election for the further period of 6 years, to actually orchestrate or capture the AIADMK? The only possibility is if the AIADMK is completely routed. Right now, we can't see a possibility of the AIADMK being completely routed, so that the cadre becomes so forlorn and despondent that they turn to her. Now that is a very, very long shot. I can't honestly see that happening. The most important point and the weakest link for Sasikala is the fact that she does not have a charismatic personality that is capable of attracting a huge number of votes.
Okay.
Now, if she could deliver, let's say on her own, she can win 50 seats or 70 seats, then it changes the whole game for her. The problem is, she is not viewed positively, particularly by the women of the state, who still hold a grudge against her for the last days of Jayalalitha, rightly or wrongly. But the problem is, you don't have a charismatic image. What do you do? How do you try to, once you capture the party cannot go to the election. Look, Mr. Dinakaran, when he contested the RK Nagar Assembly election, they hardly ever had Sasikala's face on his campaign posters. So if he is not having her, face on the campaign posters, you can imagine, how she's perceived. So it's going to be extremely difficult for her. Her best option is to make peace in some form and gradually try to get a larger role for herself as a backroom operator, which is where she has always been successful.
Correct. Okay, but Bharath, do you agree with that? Because, I was also going to ask, and obviously we are not judging which way, and I will not certainly judge which way the court decision goes. But if there is a ruling that goes in her favor, will the party cadre still accept her and the current leaders still bring her in and give her any control?
No, but what you say is far from reality. But put it very bluntly, Sasikala in the recent days has been giving mixed signals, as Mr. Sumant Raman has said. See, much recently she clearly said DMK is our common enemy. Let's join together to fight out the enemy. And the very next day she says, I am going to capture AIADMK. These kind of mixed signals shows the state of mentality they are in. And secondly, the section 5, article 5, section 2 of the ADMK bylaw says no person in the party will go to court for any reason for the interwranglings in the party, which was later corrected by Jayalalitha, wherein she says general council is supreme and nobody should go to court. And for in Sasikala's case, the appointment of her as general secretary itself is flawed. That's what they claim. And now she going to court is another thing. And the membership has been terminated and she has not renewed it. See, all these may work out against Sasikala. So for Sasikala, the only possibility for Sasikala now is maybe project TTV because she cannot contest the elections. But you know what happened to TTV? He showed some promise in RK Nagar, but after that they really faded away. See, especially in the do or die by-elections where everybody said TTV's party is going to dent ADMK. Absolutely, ADMK was very comfortable in winning the seats and rest power. So now they understand the reality. They want to have this cadre base with them. See, tell you frankly, any division in ADMK, but mind you, two leaf symbol, wherever the two leaves is, they are going to enjoy the cadre support. So eventually it boils down to who's taking up two leaves. The two leaves as of now, as recognized by Election Commission, as by Supreme Court, is with EPS and OPS faction, and knowing very well that appointment of a general secretary is by bylaw is very difficult. They have clearly settled down for convener and co-convener's post, and they have cleverly put that elections for the general secretary away. So they are playing a clever mind game. EPS and OPS are playing a clever mind game. They want Sasikala to make the next move, and eventually they want to neutralize Sasikala and make sure they are the ones who are going to take up ADMK in their shoulders and fight the elections. Mind you, a victory, forget the victory, even a good show of more than 50 to 60 seats by ADMK in this election would ensure that ADMK will be with EPS and OPS for the next few years.
Okay, so let me ask this question then, even to the AIADMK and Dr. Jayawardhan. Is there any space for her, even if it's not in the leadership? As Sumansi Raman says, gradually she can attempt to find some place in the party.
As respected Sumansi Raman sir had mentioned, with regards to backroom operator, there's that option is not at all there. We are very confident about our decision. Our general counsel had made the decision. Our EPS sir and OPS sir had made the decision. It is the decision of each and every party cadre. So Seshadri sir had mentioned, this is a party which has been formed by the people's movement. We respect the feelings, the sentiments of our party cadre. The feelings and the sentiments of the party cadre was such that VK Sasikala and her family should be expelled from the party. We respected the decision made by each and every party cadre, and we convened the election, our general council body meeting, and we made the decision. The people's movement and the party-centric, that is party cadre-centric AIADMK is governed by the party cadres. So that's the heart of our party. The leadership belongs to the EPS as well as OPS sir. They are the leaders now in the party. With regards to the general secretary post of the party, the election commission had clearly given out its direction with respect to how the general secretary is being appointed. Each and every party cadre voting for the general secretary is humanly impossible. That's why they had gone to the weightage, and that's why they have given favorable in terms of EPS and OPS with respect to leadership in our party. The election commission order itself has clearly mentioned that it is not possible at all for each and every party cadre to vote for the general secretary. So that's why it was given to us. With regards to Sasikala clan, VK Sasikala as well as Dinagaran, they are a B team of the DMK. What they want is DMK rule. They want ADMK to be defeated in the upcoming elections so that they can take control of our party. They want the two leaves to be defeated in the elections. That wouldn't happen. With the blessings of our Purachi Talavar, with the blessings of Purachi Talavi Amma, we will definitely win the 2021 election for sure.
You gave me a very nice election campaign speech, but of course, that is not what I asked you. Mr. Seshadri,
No.
on the legality front, when it comes to what happened then and the argument that Dr. Jayawardhan is presenting right now, do you agree?
Okay, on the legal front, as of now, it is settled that convener and co-convener takes the power of the General Secretary.
Yeah.
But what the General Council has done is replacing General Secretary position with a convener and co-convener cannot be done as per the party bylaw, because only the General Secretary can decide changing that portion of the bylaw. Rule 43 very clearly says. So, as of now, they are settled with the convener and co-convener position, and that way there is no problem. And the rules allow them to be acting as a general secretary and completing the works or the responsibilities of the general secretary is allowed as per their bylaw. So, election commission has agreed to that effect. So that way there is no problem. But tomorrow, or it cannot be a long-standing position of convener, co-convener cannot be existing. Someday or the other, that general secretary position has to be filled. Like last year, when these cases were settled, or whenever the cases were settled and accepted by the election commission, they agreed that it cannot, election was impossible to decide within a shorter span of time, because that time 2019 election was coming up, and that's why they agreed all these arrangements, which is
Correct.
also as per their bylaws. So that
But
arrangement
is
fine.
it because they know that if they go for something like that, that's going to create more problems for the party, because there is so much such a split within the party and the factions?
Yes, because at this point in time there is no replacement for Ms. Jayalalitha. So a charismatic leader, single leader who can fill the gap of Ms. Jayalalitha. Even Sasikala cannot. Sasikala will be defeated by the cadres when that election happens. So at this point in time, this is the best way forward for them. And I think, Sasikala will wait and watch and then play a role that is given to her in future if at all anything arises. As Mr. Sumant Sriraman said very clearly, she will be a backroom player if at all she is given. But remember, OPS and EPS have enjoyed that power today, and they will not allow Sasikala to come in and then take over the party position, because currently whoever is that 100 set of people who are part of the general council were all favored by Ms. Sasikala in the last several years. AIADMK has seen rise and fall of several leaders, and Ms. Sasikala has been a reason for that rise and fall in the last 20 plus years. And hence, actually, there are sympathizers, or she can actually call on people to show their gratitude if at all it happens. So that can happen only if AIADMK is routed. Say less than 10 or 20 seats if they win in 2021 election, which is most unlikely. If that happens, a humiliating loss to EPS can create some sort of a room for Sasikala to come in. Otherwise, in my opinion, as of today, the data shows that they will not go to that sort of routing loss. So I think it is safe to assume that EPS and OPS will emerge as a leader, at least for the foreseeable future, and Sasikala has to settle for some sort of an amicable accommodation to work as a backroom operator. I think that's the only role that.
Dr. Jayawardhan, you must respond to what Mr. Seshadri is saying.
No, there wouldn't be any amicable solutions. We are firm in our decision. Our CM, Deputy CM, our party cadres, right from the top CM to the last party cadre, like me, we are very firm in our decision. We respect the sentiments of the party cadres. We are making sure that they don't interfere in the party works as well as the government. The election commission, with regards to legal battles, election commission, Delhi High Court, Supreme Court has upheld the election commission's order. So any legal battles which are going to come up, we are ready to face it. We will win them for sure. That's about it.
Let me just go back to one more final comment from Bharath. Bharath, there were initially some signals also coming in from BJP and RSS ideologues to say that you have keep this option open. Is that matter now settled? Has the BJP made its peace with where we stand today?
Of course, of course. See, I go by what happened on January 19th. See, mind you, on January 19th, Edappadi Palaniswamy very clearly said there is no place for Sasikala in AIADMK. Mind you, he said it in New Delhi after meeting Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. From that day, the narrative by all the ministers in the AIADMK changed. Everybody changed their stance from that day. So as of now, but there are few sympathizers in BJP or maybe RSS ideologues wanting Sasikala, want to accommodate Sasikala. But the point here is, mind you, these elections, BJP, everybody is going to fight under AIADMK. And Edappadi Palaniswamy has done one thing very smart. So he has stamped his authority over it. Maybe. So he eventually he will have a say in it. And for him, somebody who has enjoyed the power, he is certainly not going to give it up. Maybe after elections, again, if ADMK is going to fare very badly, maybe all these things will come up for discussion. And as far as AMMK,
Tanvi,
Yes.
AMMK,
Yeah, well,
AIADMK
if the
sir,
performance
Tanvi,
isn't
last
good and
point.
in favor of AIADMK,
One
then
last
of course there's going to be a whole different set of drama that unfolds. Yes,
Tanvi,
Sumansi
one
Raman.
last point. Yeah. See, Tanvi, one very important factor is that the AIADMK needs every vote that it can get in this election. Let's face it, they are facing 2 terms of incumbency. So there is anti-incumbency. There is also the huge fact that they are taking along the BJP, which is quite unpopular. So I think that they need every vote that they can get. And while it's easy for us to dismiss Sasikala's influence to just 20 constituencies where she could make a difference, it is extremely important for the AIADMK to get that 7%, 8%, or maybe the 10 to 12% vote that she's going to get in these 20 constituencies. Now, the AIADMK, it is for this reason that the BJP has understood this. BJP knows that the AIADMK BJP alliance needs Sasikala's vote share of the AMMK in southern Tamil Nadu. And that is why even now there are still attempts being made to see how maybe by not contesting, maybe by giving a benign blessing to the AIADMK, whatever. I mean, or any other methods which are possible to ensure that this vote bank of the AMMK of Sasikala and Dinakaran get added to the AIADMK BJP kitty for 2021. Now that is something which they will need, because mind you, if you look at the margins in the 2019 parliamentary election, I know that it's not comparable, but the margins were huge, and the DMK Congress combined swept the polls, winning 38 out of 39 eventually. So it's not going to be easy. Even now, by my reckoning, the DMK Congress combined is significantly ahead. In northern Tamil Nadu, they are hugely ahead. So southern Tamil Nadu and western Tamil Nadu are where the AIADMK needs to make a mark if they are hoping to come back to power, and they can't afford to give away 20-25 seats because their vote share is being split.
Okay, a very interesting point, and I want to soon, and maybe the next conversation will be about where AIADMK and DMK actually stand, and hopefully, by then this matter would have settled, or you never know, more drama will continue. But for now, I'm completely out of time on this conversation. A big thank you to all of the panelists who actually joined us. Now, like our experts said, that she's been sending mixed signals. On one day, she emerges in a car that carries the party flag. On another day, she seems to completely go into a shell and not speak about it. On the third day, her nephew says, well, if they approach us, we will be willing to have a conversation. But the fourth day, they go and approach the court and say, expedite the case that we filed against AIADMK's decision to change the party post's value and thereby remove Sasikala. So it does look like she is going ahead in terms of challenging and sending the signals that she does want to get back control. Will she be able to do that before election remains to be a key question. The court itself will take up this matter now on March 15th, before elections take place in Tamil Nadu. But they're just taking up the matter, not announcing a decision. So interesting to watch what happens in the coming days. Stay tuned to Mirror Now and many more of these conversations.